Education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world, a phrase said by Nelson Mandela. Every children must receive two types of education, the one at home and the one at school. And the lack of education we are receiving in Mexico right now is a reflection of our current problems. Children, have you ever heard the phrase like father, like son? Well, this phrase means that most of the children will end up being most likely similar to their parents. And this is a reflection of what's going on in Mexico. 46% of the Mexican people live in poverty. And when people see that their parents um, have a certain style, lifestyle, they think that that's everything that they can reach and that they don't have the potential to reach other social, economic, and levels of life. And we think that is a very important point in which education can take place, and children don't think that they can reach a higher education level. Also, the lack of values that children are receiving at home is a very important aspect because the criminal rate in Mexico is really high, and if the values at home are very straight about what's wrong and what's right, even if the streets try to convince you into taking the wrong path, you won't take it if the values at home are right. Um, Also, another issue is the internet. Children are using iPads before they even know how to tie their shoes, and that's a problem, and that's an actual fact. And it starts with children, and then when you're a teenager, it becomes like a necessity of having an iPad or a laptop or a phone to communicate and to learn. And even though it's a very powerful tool for education, it can also be very harmful because the internet is like a weapon. You can learn about cyberbullying, about drugs, about alcohol, and other topics that maybe your maturity is not ready to understand. So parents should be more concerned about educating their children to control their searches in the internet.
Well, another point that is very important is the education that we receive at home. At school. Because, well, Mexico is one of the countries that spends the most money at education out of the OCDE community. But what are they spending this money on? Well, obviously, two of the really important things is the teachers and the physical space. First, the teachers. I have had one of the most, um, well, one of the best teachers in like public schools. There are so great teachers that you can see that they love what they are doing and that they know about the topics they are teaching. But I have had some teachers that they just go and teach because that's their job. They don't like it, they don't love it, and they don't know, sometimes they don't even know about what they are teaching about. So that is a really important thing because we spend at least 18 years of our lives at school if we are talking about someone that goes to college. And we spend at least 5 hours a day at school. So everything we see, everything we hear at school affects us in the future on our education. Um, if we go to school and we see a teacher that just is there because he has to and he's not encouraging us to learn and to do our work, then that obviously affects us on our education. That is one of the most important things that affects a person on their education. And the physical space. What is the difference between a public school and a school like here, tech? Um, well, the physical aspects, like their desks and their chairs, and like the whole classroom is really different. And obviously, you have a chair and you have a desk, and you can work the same way. But if the furniture is really like outdated, then it doesn't encourage you to work on it. Like it just doesn't. So it's a really important thing. So if Mexico is spending a lot of money on education, they should spend it the, the right way and look like in what teachers they should spend that money on and what like what things they should change of the physical space too, because it's a really important thing too.
Well, another example of how education affects us is by the social example. And two examples of this is our president and media. Our president is a terrible example of how we should be behaving, the the public mistakes he makes with the use of grammar, the use of information. He, like, if you observe him, he's not a completely educated person, or at least he doesn't behave that way in public. And also his family, there has been a lot of scandals about their children, how they speak online, how they behave at social events or parties, and that's not a good example of how families in Mexico should behave.
And another thing is the media. We already talked about it, but it's a really important thing because even a 10-year-old has access to every kind of information. So if they get, I forgot the word, like if they start, what?
Access.
Well, yeah, if they have access in such a little age to all of that things, they are gonna start learning about good things they can learn, but a lot of bad things they can learn too. They can see a lot of tragedies happening just if you search something in Google. They have access to inappropriate movies or even porn. They can search whatever they want on the internet. And well, we have also there are some things that we can do to solve these problems. First, at home, um, obviously we don't have kids yet, but we have to make an example. We have to be the example for our family. And when we have in the future a family, we have to start caring about what our children are seeing or what they have access to, because we are responsible of them. And if we at this, like nowadays, we can have this access to all of these things, imagine like in 10 years. So
And well, at school we can implement many solutions. One that has proven to be very effective, and there has been studies about this especially in the United States, are rewards for students and teachers. Since Mexico is spending a lot of money on education, maybe they should spend it on rewards. There was a study in the United States where they told public school students in high school that if they would improve their grades by certain percentage, or if they were at the top percent, either way they would receive a money reward. So instead of spending that money in more books or in more other types of things, they would give them to students. So since you're a teenager and you want to buy some new sneakers, or you want to go out with your friends, that really motivates you. And their GPA improved a lot. And also for teachers, so the teachers weren't that motivated to put all their effort and energy to their students. So they also had a place where the students and other faculty members could vote, and the best teachers would receive a bonus. Well, there's actually a movie about that. I think it's called Bad Teacher. Well, this actually happened in real life. And also regarding the school facilities, they can make school projects saying, okay, one Saturday we're gonna come and we're going to garden and put flowers, or we're going to raise money to buy new desks. They can make social events at school to make their facilities better.
well, the education is obviously so important for us, so it can open a lot of doors to a better future and a better country. So if we focus ourselves on improving that education that we receive at school, at home, and the social education we have to, we can have a better future for the next generations.
Okay, very good.